What's good, bitches? I'm TheMassaCreature, and oh my god, I had the most unthinkable fucking argument ever with one of my friends last night. See, I was asleep until about midnight, around which time she gave me a call and woke me up just to talk, and that was fine. But she started talking about how she couldn't get on Facebook, Skype, Uber, or anything on the internet, and when I asked why, she said it was because her dad had disconnected the internet. And when I asked why he would do that, she said it's a frequent incentive for her and the rest of her siblings to go outside. Now, I said I thought that was fucking ridiculous, and she started arguing with me about it. She says that there's nothing wrong with doing such a thing. I say, if I were a parent, I wouldn't deprive my children of their freedoms. I wouldn't deprive them of their right to choose how to spend their time. I wouldn't deprive them of their right to have the hobbies they want. If they didn't want to go outside, I wouldn't care. If they wanted to stay inside all day and play video games, watch TV, stay on the internet, or just read, if it makes them happy, why should I be the one to confiscate that freedom of happiness? Then I started getting strawman the fuck out. I said, I think you should just do whatever makes you happy. And she made it look like I didn't care if my children were hurting themselves. She asked, well, what if your kids were doing drugs? If that made them happy, you still wouldn't let them do it, would you? And I said, well, no, because I wasn't condoning doing drugs. I wasn't condoning doing anything deleterious to your health. Now, if you're smoking weed, I wouldn't give a shit because I don't believe weed is harmful to your health, even though I'm straight edge, just because I'm a stubborn bitch like that, for the same reason I've never tried a hamburger or a hot dog in my life, among other things, but I didn't approve of doing anything noxious to your mind. Now, she started to argue that being on the computer all day can be harmful to your eyes, like watching TV. Listen, I'm on the computer 12 hours a day, and I don't get eye pains from it. Until my eyes start to fall out of my head, or until I get eye cancer, I'm going to stay on the computer because it makes me happy. I go outside whenever I'm just leaving the house in order to get to the store, or whenever to go to my friend's house, so even if my eyes were hurting, don't you think I would just get off the computer myself? Why would you feel a need to deprive me of my freedoms under some delusion that I won't be able to notice when my eyes get hurt? If you disconnect the internet to stop your children from hurting their eyes, don't you think that insults the children's inclination to common fucking sense to get off the computer themselves if they were having eye afflictions due to computer light? And what are your priorities here? Preventing your children from getting eye afflictions at the cost of limiting options of what to do? If you are genuinely concerned for the well-being of your child, you trust in their common sense. Don't self-righteously extinguish their choices to enforce them to consider others. You don't have to go outside if you just want to be active. I work out every day, but I don't go outside. Kids who want to go outside are going to go outside. Don't make shit mandatory for your kids if they don't want to do it. Don't make anything fucking mandatory. Don't deprive them of talking to their friends if they want to talk to their friends. What's more important, the freedom to talk to their friends or an obligation to step outside in the hot weather? She argued that being on the computer was a privilege and it shouldn't be taken for granted. Well, since parents pay for the internet, they have the right to turn it off however they please. I never said they had no right, but does it mean that they should do it anyway? Just because they have the right to establish boundaries on their children's freedoms doesn't mean that they should. Doesn't justify it. Besides, if you're on the computer all day, is that taking it for granted? Looks to me like you're putting that privilege to good use, if you ask me. So what if your parents paid for the internet and you never got on the internet? What if no one got on the internet? I'm just saying. See, if you have internet and you choose to get on the computer for whatever you damn well please, whenever you damn well please, for business or pleasure, how is the privilege being taken for granted? What's the damn problem if kids want to spend their lives doing whatever they want? She also argued more to my happiness argument, saying, what if kids ate all day until they got obese? Well, if eating makes my kids happy and they don't give a shit about what they eat and how much they weigh, who am I to tell them to limit their calories? If you pay for internet, let your kids use it. If they don't want to go outside, don't force them to. They'll go outside if they want. They'll stop getting on the computer if their eyes are hurting, which is just really implausible. And if they'll know when they're hurting their eyes, they're going to do it because it's common fucking sense, and you don't have to distrust that common sense. I'm not saying parents don't have the right to decide who employs the use of their internet, but it doesn't mean that they should do it out of some kind of self-righteousness. They can encourage their children to go outside. They can buy them healthy food, and they can do what they want to ensure that their children are healthy out of some genuine concern. but don't temporarily prohibit their choices out of some kind of persuasion. The best way to care for your children is to honor their free will. Your children will thank you for letting them spend their lives doing whatever makes them happy, having the friends they want to have, listening to the music they want to listen to, eating whatever they want, etc., etc., etc. Now, to my friend, I love her to death. This was just the most ridiculous argument ever, and I'm sorry that happened. As unapologetic I am, when it comes to my friends, I don't like arguing. But just because your parents are your parents doesn't mean they automatically know what's right for you. Don't commit the logical fallacy of argumentum ad verecundiam, which is appeal to respect, or argumentum ad potentiam, which means argument to power. You know what's best for you. You know what you want. And you know what not to do if the time comes. Now, I swear, if my parents started depriving me of my internet and told me to go outside, I'd go outside and go to the fucking library to use the computer. There's no entity in this universe powerful enough to dictate my free will to choose. I hope to encourage everyone else to do the same. Don't let people tell you what's right for you. Trust in yourself. Trust in your common sense. Trust in your judgments. And don't be overcome by fallacious bullshit. The quote of the day is by me. Don't feel inadequate over inadequacies. The album of the day is The Common Man's Collapse by Veil Amaya. Thank you for watching. I am TheMassaCreature. Stick to your fucking guns and light your own path.